Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And happy Wednesday, everybody. As me and Savannah are coming to you live, we just watched the Super Bowl not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I know that will be old news, but don't care. Still have to talk about it.
Yeah, we do still
Go
have
Birds.
to talk about it. Go Birds. They
Savannah's wearing a Birds
destroyed.
hoodie
Oh,
right
I
now.
didn't even realize I was. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Go
They
Birds.
destroyed. And I don't know if you really care about football that much, but
I love
don't.
football.
Oh, well, I don't really watch it ever.
I only care because I play fantasy.
Oh, okay.
So it's for money.
Listen, I do root for the Eagles, but that's pretty much it.
I don't even really have a team. It used to be the Panthers, but it can't be anymore.
Yeah.
Losers.
I feel that. But we did watch the Super Bowl, and obviously that comes with more than just football. It's like
Yes.
the media around it.
Yeah, you
like
have
the
to
halftime
watch
show and the
commercials. You have to, which I hate commercials, but love Super Bowl commercials.
I know, like around the Super Bowl, they make them kind like good.
Like, why
Some
can't we
of- I
make
mean,
good commercials all year long, guys?
Right, yeah,
I'm
like
seeing that it's
entertaining ones.
possible.
Right.
Like, only at the Super Bowl.
I know.
So stupid. But I thought it would be fun to talk about some of the ones that I at least remember. And maybe if
Okay.
you remember any.
Yeah.
One of my
yeah.
favorite ones was Seal being a seal for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Baja Blast
Yeah.
for Mountain
yeah.
Dew. Love that one. There was two that really disturbed me.
I think I know exactly which ones.
One would be the skin hats.
Yes, that was weird. I don't know why they did
remember what the commercial was for.
that. Tubi.
Yeah, why?
I don't
Tubi.
know. Literally all of us who were in the room watching that, we all looked at each other after. We're like, what just happened? Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, like the whole Super Bowl, we were playing the game of guess what brand this commercial is for, because most of the time you don't know till like the end. And so with that one, we were like,
Yeah, it's like,
I
what?
have literally no idea, and I still have no idea. So, Tubi, we would love the answer if you have the answer as to why you did that, because that was disturbing.
Right.
The other one that was disturbing was some kind of cold foam.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew you were
the
going to say that one
tongue.
too. Yeah,
There
that
were
one's weird. I didn't like that.
So many tongues, and I was not about it.
Listen, do you want to know why some of these were so weird?
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
pretty
Are
sure.
they AI?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like people they're using, these companies are starting to use AI
Well, and
for
the actual
their
AI
ideas.
commercials too were also
like
weird.
there were AI like commercials, but also just like using AI to come up with ideas, and it's like
Yeah.
these are weird ideas. Like why?
It's because
Why?
it's a computer.
Yeah.
Okay, companies.
So
I know people are going to look back at this podcast and be like, these people are so old and grandma, but like, I'm not for the AI.
I'm really not
We're
either.
against AI.
I've
Sorry.
always been against AI.
Me too. I've never even
Like,
really
and
used
I
it that
just-
much.
I try to stay away from it as much as I can,
Yeah,
but
me too.
it's like
But we
getting
sound
into
crazy.
more and more.
Like, we almost
stuff.
we cannot escape it.
I know.
It's really scary, and I don't like it. And I sound like my grandma talking about
I know.
like the
Like I
internet.
feel like that
Like,
too.
The internet is scary. Well, it is.
Yeah.
So
it
so
is.
is AI. So,
Yeah.
but I know that's so true.
And AI is so bad for the environment
Yeah,
too.
it takes
The
so
servers.
much water, energy. And people don't understand that. Like, everything takes energy to work, guys.
Yeah.
Like, every
exactly.
single thing that we use takes energy.
Right. Yeah.
I know it's a hard concept to understand, but then also the halftime show. Okay,
Yes.
Kendrick freaking Lamar
Yeah.
and his little squad
Mm-hmm.
of all of those people coming out of that car. My
Oh
God.
my God. Yeah. I know.
How the heck were they all in there? And they were.
No, you could tell that they probably came from underneath.
Well, I assumed, but people said that was not true.
It looked like it was connected in a way.
Loved it, though.
Because I could tell. It's
Loved
like,
it, though.
Yeah. It was cool.
Amazing. Message, amazing. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Like the whole thing was like crazy.
Oh, my God. It was great. Kendrick's mind is crazy. SZA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Had to give some applause for my girl
Perfect.
SZA.
Yeah.
Literally, such a big fan of SZA. And okay, fun fact, and then we can move on. Okay. The album that has been like the most weeks consecutive for like ever on Billboard 100 is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, okay.
But SZA is 5 weeks away from having it,
really?
from beating that record for SOS. Yep. So, fun fact about SZA.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. You think she's gonna do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been listening to it just to make sure she does.
Oh, so, you're personally keeping it
me.
On,
it's just me. It's literally just me. No,
Yeah,
it's definitely not just me. It's a great album. But
okay.
yeah, loved it. And if you didn't understand the halftime show, just go watch it again.
Yeah, and
that's my recommendation personally.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people trying to explain it to others, like on TikTok and stuff too. So
and YouTube.
There was definitely a message behind it. So if you didn't get it,
yeah, loved it. Loved it so much.
Yeah, but that, like, besides the point. Like, just move away from that, I guess.
I know how to move away. One more clap for Mustard.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't forget him. He called it too.
So, yeah, one more thing. This is really random, and I think I've talked about this before, actually, that I have been wanting to get Moldavite.
God, I don't know what I was expecting you to say.
I feel like I talked about it before. Like, we both have, maybe not.
No, we've talked about it, but I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast.
Okay. Well, recently I've been I saw like one TikTok about somebody who had a Moldavite necklace, and it's like Moldavite's a type of crystal
from Mars.
It's from an asteroid
or something
from Mars or something. I don't know, but it's supposed to, like, if you wear it on you or keep it with you all the time, it's supposed to, like, keep away things that are not meant for you. And it can, like, people say it can mess up your whole life if you're surrounded by things that aren't meant for you.
Like, it can, like, turn it upside down.
Right, but, like, part of me is, like, I see that, and I'm like, that could be fun. Like, what if nothing happens, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm good. But, or
that's what I feel like would happen. The problem is that it's very expensive to get a real one.
True.
Yes.
I didn't really think about that. I did not think about that part.
It is from an asteroid from Mars, so there's, like, very limited quantity.
Yeah.
I always had a problem confusing those words.
Yeah.
But quantity of them. So, like, that's the only reason, actually, I haven't ever gotten Moldavite. Because I've wanted to get Moldavite, too. I'm horrified of what that might do to me. Because I know all the negative things in my life.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm still living in them. So.
Yeah. But then they say, like, at the end of the journey, like,
it's all worth it, for sure.
Yeah, it's all worth it. Like, you end up on such a better path. And I don't know.
Yeah, we should look into it, but I don't know, like, where is a trusted source?
I know. If you
Crystal
know,
Girlies,
comment below, please.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, we should. I feel like we should, like, do an episode on crystals and stuff, because
that would be fun.
That is definitely a mystery myth legend type thing.
People are probably rolling their eyes at us right now, but listen.
But they're supposed to mean that, like, we've talked about astrology.
Even if they don't mean anything, they're beautiful.
Yeah, but also there is, even if you don't believe that it does anything and you think it's just a rock, there is meaning behind it to other people, so it'd be cool to learn about. So
no, that's facts. Also, that's this entire show.
Exactly. So maybe one day I'll do that. So, comment if you want me to do that. Not if I do
it first. No,
if you want one of us to do it.
No, Savannah, you could do it. No, we should. Also, we could have, like, a series, because there's...
True. You're right.
If you don't know, there's millions
there's a lot,
kinds of
crystals, and I don't really know about them.
So. Time to learn.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, please go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please. And check out our YouTube, obviously. Obviously. But, Savannah, if you want to get into your story...
Okay. let's get into it. So this week I have a mystery. The mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So
the Hulks.
Kind of. Well, not really, but kind of. So this is taking it like way back, like the 12th century.
Oh my god.
So
that's so long ago.
They're not sure the exact year. Possibly during the reign of King Stephen.
Oh my god.
Which was 1135 to 1154. It's a long time ago.
I can't even imagine that time.
I know. But during that time, during the harvest, in the village of Woolpit, which is in Suffolk, in England, which, okay, if you know this area, then you'll know this as well, but it's about 10 miles from Bury St. Edmunds, which is, I guess, that's like the larger area around there. So if you don't know where Woolpit is, it's near there. So just for reference of all that. But people were out during the harvest. They were near the wolf pits, which, if you don't know what a wolf pit is,
I was gonna say, what the heck is that?
That's actually where Woolpit gets its name, because I guess if you say wolf pit fast enough, it sounds like Woolpit. So it's like, yeah. So that's kind of where they get its name. But wolf pits are actually ditches that are dug deep in the ground to trap wolves. So that kind of makes sense with the name.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
They must have had a really big wolf problem.
I guess, yeah.
I've never heard of that.
So while they were harvesting their crops around there's these wolf pits around, and they discovered 2 young children.
Oh my god, in the pits?
Yes. Or around. I don't know. I'm pretty sure, like, it sounded like they were in the pits, I think.
Nice.
This story is from a while ago, so I mean, you don't really have the exact details.
Yeah.
But, some stories, they differ. But we can say they were in one, yeah. So they were discovered and, I guess, pulled out, and there were some strange things about these kids, though. So 2 young children, a girl and a boy, but they had green skin. And they wore strange clothes, supposedly, for the area.
Okay.
And they spoke a language that no one understood.
Oh, they were alive?
Yes.
I don't know why I thought they were dead. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
to these children.
No, they're alive.
Oh.
They're alive and well. Well, maybe not well, but alive.
Okay.
What? Sorry, maybe I should have mentioned that, but I didn't really think.
I don't know why I don't know why I just assumed they were dead. That's probably on me.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe somebody else out there thought so too, but I don't know. So anyway, yeah, they spoke a language that no one really understood, and people, like, they went to give them some food, but they actually refused to eat regular foods at first. Because they offered them, like, bread, and they're like, we don't want the bread, no.
Maybe they're just picky.
Maybe. So the children, they were taken to Sir Richard de Calme, who took them in, which I guess he was one of the, like, richer people in the area at the time. So he just took them in. And they tried to get them to eat. They wouldn't touch anything until they offered them some beans.
Beans are universal in the universe.
Yeah. They were actually, I should have written down what type of beans they were. They were like these green ones. Like kind of like lima beans, but not.
Because they were green. They wanted the green bean.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, they would only eat these beans. And after a few days, unfortunately, the boy, he became sick. And
probably from the beans.
He died.
Oh my God. I didn't mean to make fun of him right before he died. I'm sorry, little boy.
Died. The girl did survive. And eventually she lost her green tone.
I was about to say, are you fooling me into telling me the story of Elphaba? Because I was so ready.
No. She was green, but then she like lost her greenness over time.
She lost her green. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And turned what color?
Just like
white?
Yeah, she's white.
What?
Like just, an English person.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but that only happened after she began eating things other than just these beans,
It was the beans.
I mean, okay, maybe it's not directly related. We don't know yet. Okay.
I'm blaming the beans.
She was taught English and was baptized, of course, because
they said this is
gotta
a demon.
Be baptized. And she has a name now. They named her Agnes. So.
Okay.
And she even, like, when she grew up, she married a diplomat, Richard Barr. So she was Agnes Barr. So she, like, went on to have a normal life, even though she was found in these weird circumstances.
Yeah.
So once she started to learn English, of course, people look back at her past and they're like, okay, where did you come from? Right. What happened? Why were you green?
Right.
So there are a few different versions of the story, and none are like first-hand accounts, unfortunately, because it's so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like, oh, like all these townspeople have talked about this. We're gonna write down.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
There is I watched this YouTube video on this story, and let me see what account. If I wrote down the account, of course I didn't.
That's so me.
It was like a history account.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about how, like, scholars have kind of confirmed that, yes, these children were real. Like, people weren't just making up this story. It was generally, believed to be true.
That's crazy.
So anyway, they asked her what happened, right? Mm-hmm. And she says that the people that she had, like, come from lived in a place with no sun. She said that they had a degree of light, like what's after sunset, like twilight,
mm-hmm. Edward Cullen.
I know,
I'm just
right?
kidding. I'm kidding. I had to.
She said that the little boy was her brother, so their brother and sister, and her brother, they wandered off one day while they were supposed to be tending to their father's cattle, and they kind of just got lost, wandered off, and they discovered a cavern and decided to go explore it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got lost in there for a minute, but they found their way out following the sound of bells.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when they find their way out, they were really confused and amazed by, like, this extreme light from the sun.
Yeah.
When, like, you go from total darkness to, like, bright lights in your face.
Horrible.
Like, that's probably what happened to them.
Nightmare.
And they got, like, disoriented and lost and couldn't find the cavern again to make it back.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Yeah, I know. And they probably just couldn't see until their eyes adjusted, right?
Yeah.
So, and then that's where the story I told earlier starts, where they were found by the farmers that were harvesting.
Oh my God, that is so scary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she also said that where she came from, there was a great land of light that was in a distance from her home.
What does this mean? That is crazy. Okay. So she lives in the dark land, but there's a light land too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
And you can, like, see it out in the distance. You're like, oh, what's up? There's light over there.
Okay. Okay.
And she also said that her home was called St. Martin's Land.
Okay. How old is she? Ish.
Well, when they found her and her brother, they were pretty young.
Okay.
But then like she's
she
just
had to learn
remembering all of
English.
this from her childhood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and there was a great river that separated her home from the land of light, apparently.
Okay. Okay.
So if you can kind of picture.
Yeah. I can kind of picture.
Yeah. So, how exactly can this be explained? Right?
Well, there's only one way, Savannah. If you know me, you know what I would say.
I was going to say, yeah, you go for it. What do you think?
Aliens, baby. First of all, they're green. No. Second of all, land of the darkness. Listen, you know that I don't know geography, but I thought that it was only like Alaska, Iceland, those Antarctica, those cold regions that had like darkness. So like
I think so.
So if she would, but this is like in England, right?
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, it is really cloudy there all the time.
Okay. I guess maybe you're right. Maybe that's what. Maybe it wasn't meant so literally. I guess. Well, then I don't know. Yeah. My only answer is aliens. Like they're from a different planet.
I know. Aliens is a theory. There's not much on it, but it's just, maybe they could be aliens,
Like they're, like where'd they come from? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, theoretically, I feel like their skin was green because of like their light situation.
Yeah, maybe.
Or like maybe if they were in the little pot. What's the little holes called again? The place name?
The wolf pits.
The wolf pits. Maybe they were toxic. They had some sludge and it turned them green. That's my theories.
Another theory is that there was an underground world that they came from.
Well, I was gonna say they could be mole people.
Sense. Yeah,
like there are people who live underground.
Could be.
Which like still today.
It's crazy when she's talking about tending to cattle underground.
See, that's the part that confused me. And wait, have you ever seen the movie Us by Jordan Peele? Where like the red suit.
So. Yeah.
Where like, spoilers, sorry, this movie is literally 15 years old. It's not my fault. Like everybody like there's like people like us that live on like the up world. Yes. But then there's also a clone version that live underground.
Right. Yeah.
That's exactly what this is giving. And now I'm like, did he base that movie on this? Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because that's just another theory too. I mean,
yeah,
it's not really...
I guess... I mean, they easily could have lived underground. Yeah. They got out of that cave easily. Cavern, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. This kind of goes into... I mean, this just goes along with both of those other theories. Another dimension.
Yeah. That's true.
You never know.
Earth 200. We live on Earth 4.
Yeah. And because another part that I kind of forgot about is their clothes. That I mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? They said their clothes were a little weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There is a widely accepted theory though.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That's more reasonable
than all of this. I can't seem to come to a reasonable one in my brain right now.
Okay. First, we're going to go through why they were green.
Okay.
Chlorosis.
Okay. So, the water.
So, chlorosis is a type of anemia, which is iron deficiency where you get a green tint to your skin.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah.
That happens to me if you take a quarter. You ever heard of that? Because I'm anemic.
Yeah. So, I guess similar to that, but you just get green all over.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're, like, having, like, an anemic episode or whatever. Yeah.
So, yeah, they probably had some nutritional deficiencies there.
That makes sense.
There is other things that could turn your skin green like that. There's one that you sort of get a rash, though. So that's not really, like, accepted, though, because the, like, scientists reasoned, they're like, well, if they had a rash or anything, the townspeople wouldn't have taken them in because they thought they had like measles or something that would spread.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
true.
it is probably the most reasonable one would be chlorosis because it doesn't do much else.
Yeah.
It just like makes your skin green and like.
Yeah. Personally, I think the most reasonable would be the beans. Second, chlorosis.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
But also, okay.
But also
so
the beans.
They were only eating beans, but beans have iron in them. So I'm like, I don't get how they're getting anemia from
Well, maybe
that,
it's because they live underground.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know how that has to do with it, but...
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe the specific bean that they were eating is low in iron.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or maybe they just, I don't know. They weren't eating that previously and the townspeople gave it to them.
Yeah, maybe it just looked similar to something they ate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely had nutritional deficiency.
That's for sure.
And the green tint did go away once she started eating more diverse diet. So like that's probably what happened. What happened there.
For sure.
But where did they come from is the big thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Like what language? Did they ever figure out what language she spoke?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So Agnes, her memory was not really the best, right? Because it was like she's remembering all of this stuff as a child, where you would most likely not have like all the facts, right? And your perception of everything is kind of that of a child's.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like really say what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Interesting. But with what she did say, you know, people have said kind of like what I was saying earlier, that where she described it as a land with low light, people were just saying like, okay, it's probably just because in England it gets really cloudy and maybe she was found, like maybe the sun had just come out or something, and I don't know, it's just like your kid brain doesn't perceive it in the same way. You're like, oh my god, it's suddenly so bright.
Yeah.
We're in a different world.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And the language barrier. So it has been proposed that the children were actually Flemish immigrants.
I was going to say that they were immigrants from somewhere, wherever their language was.
See, you're smarter than me because I didn't even think of it. Like,
I definitely did. I was like, they had to have just escaped from somewhere.
So, yeah, they were immigrants from Belgium. And were most likely speaking Flemish.
Because that also explains their clothes.
True. So they most likely were from Fornham, which is also known as Fornham St. Martin.
Oh, stop. No way.
St. Martin's Land.
Wow. St. Martin's Land is crazy.
Because that's what she remembered as a kid.
I know. That's so funny, though.
And it was also, this area is only 2 miles from Bury St. Edmunds. So it's like it's in the area.
That's crazy. Wow.
Also, the church in St. Edmunds, in the 12th and 13th centuries, had bells that were regularly rung.
Stop, that's
so they heard
how
the
they
bells.
got out. Wait. That's crazy,
Yes.
Savannah.
And there were also flint mines in the area. So there were tons of underground passages that they could have gotten into.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
So, but it is weird, though, that no one understood the language if it was Flemish.
That close, yeah.
Because the people who had been in the area, Flemish people had been in the area for a while at that point, right? So somebody would have recognized that language, but it has been theorized that they could have been speaking English, actually. But just were speaking in unfamiliar dialect, because apparently back in the day, all these villages had different dialects, and from one to the next, they could be unrecognizable.
Yeah, and also the fact that they were just like children.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like
true,
plays
yeah.
into it too, because like they probably just didn't have a good vocabulary as it is, no matter what language they were trying to speak.
Right, or maybe they were like mixing the languages.
Yeah,
or
yeah, like a bunch all at once. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it's just this whole mess, honestly, because it's like from the outside, it seems like an unexplainable, like, where these kids come from, why are they green?
Yeah.
Then when you go through it like this, it's like, wow.
Like, it makes sense, but
these kids
really
were just malnourished,
abandoned,
and, yeah, kind of abandoned.
missing. Like, where are their parents? They don't care where they are.
See, that's another thing. Like, if this is really the case, it's kind of sad because they were lost from their family, or
maybe what if they died?
I mean, maybe, or they just like ran away. Well, maybe not ran away, but like were put out there on purpose or something.
My God,
I don't know. It's just sad that like, did their family ever know what happened?
Yeah, like, did Agnes ever meet them?
I know. And, like, what was her actual name? Because
right. Like, her name's not freaking Agnes.
Or maybe it was. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's crazy.
I bet it's not. That's... Wow.
Yeah.
How have I never heard of that story? That's crazy.
I know. When I was going through it, I was like, this kind of seems a little familiar, but not at the same time.
Yeah, no. I've never... That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Green Children of Woolpit. So do you think that it was aliens, or did they...
No.
Or like the more reasonable explanation?
Obviously, I believe the more reasonable explanation. I just had to throw the alien out there.
I don't know. They could be from another
Either
dimension.
way, they're aliens in a different place.
Yeah.
Like, in terminology-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, either way, I'm right.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though. I don't think they're from a different... I don't think they flew in on a UFO.
I mean, that would be cool if they did, though.
Yeah. Like, or, like, what if they actually were aliens and then they just adapted? Like, she just adapted really quickly. Yeah.
I know.
Maybe. Agnes, don't come for me.
Could
she's
be.
not around.
No.
Never mind.
This is so maybe long. She's immortal.
Oh, Agnes, if you're still here, please don't come for me for that.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Wow. I love that is a mystery, but also we have the answer.
I know. We do kind of have the answer. It's all like just theorized, but it's like
That's
pretty
enough
sure.
of an answer for me, though, to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Because when you said you had a mystery, I was like, Savannah.
I know.
My heart can't take it. Well, I guess moving on to my story. I have for you the legend of the Algonquin Hotel.
Oh, okay.
So this week, I was inspired by the one and the only Trisha Paytas.
Oh my God.
For my story.
Okay. Love it.
Which I never get to say that, so love that. We'll get to where she ties into the story at the end, so you'll have to wait till the end to see. But my story takes place in the Big Apple, New York City. So yeah, if you did not know, Trisha Paytas, she's a YouTuber, and she actually just did her first like Broadway appearance with her like one night only show on Broadway.
It was crazy.
Yes, and so while she was there doing that Broadway show, she stayed at the Algonquin Hotel.
Oh, did she?
She did.
Okay.
And she said she had some experiences when she stayed there. So stay to the end if you want to hear what those were. Mm-hmm. But as you can probably guess, this hotel is said to be haunted. Ooh. And what's funny about this hotel, you know how we always see, like, this is America's #1 most haunted hotel ever.
Yeah.
Okay, not this one. This one is named the best haunted hotel.
Oh,
they're not saying it's the most haunted. They're not saying it has the most ghosts, most scares, but it's the best haunted house.
Okay. I mean, I can take that, yeah.
Period. But yeah. So let's get into the story. This famous hotel opened on November 22nd, 1902. And ever since the opening, it has had the reputation of elegance, deep history, and a little bit of spooky scaries, okay? According to the local lore, the hotel is haunted by ghosts of some of the greatest writers and theatrical geniuses of the 1920s.
Oh.
Yeah. Specifically haunted by some of the members of the original Vicious Circle. Which
what?
I'm like, what the heck is the Vicious Circle?
I don't know, but that sounds interesting.
Sounds crazy,
yeah.
right? So, the Vicious Circle was first known as the Algonquin Round Table.
Okay.
Due to the literal round table that they would sit at. And so basically it was just this group of famous creatives. In this group, so it included Dorothy Parker, Alexander Woollcott, Franklin Adams, Robert Benchley, George Kaufman, and Harold Ross. As I said, these are people who are famous in the 1920s, so literally 100 years ago. So
Yeah.
I don't know who those people are, but they were very, very famous. So they would meet at this hotel, because obviously they're famous. They're in the big city, New York City, and they would meet at this hotel, sit around this round table, and kind of like throw out ideas to each other.
Okay.
Harold Ross, who is one that I mentioned, actually would eventually found the prestigious American magazine, The New Yorker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And due to that, the hotel was actually deemed a literary historic landmark on July 5th, 1996. So the building itself is protected. So, yeah. So, because of the location and the time that it's built, and just like the elegance, like that they wanted to, exude with this hotel, it had a lot going on inside of it. It had its own barbershop, restaurant, rehearsal studio spaces for like the actors. So this was like a very pop-in place back in
I mean, if
the
it has its
1920s.
own like place for actors too, like that it was the place to go to.
Absolutely. And the fact that Trisha stayed there, I'm obsessed with that. But yes, but there is a little bit of a dark past here as well. I bet you could guess, Savannah, what I'm about to say. But in 1914, there was a fire.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course there was.
Yep. If you've listened to this podcast before, we have found just how bad fire
safety used to be.
I'm so thankful. So thankful to live in the time that we do, to have fire safety.
Like, it's so much less common.
So much. Like, it definitely still happens. We're knocking on the wood as we speak.
But, like, it is, like, so much
safer
now.
Yeah. And that's just 100 years ago. So, yeah. But, anyway.
And also, okay.
No, go ahead.
People are probably smoking inside, which 100%. Is fire inside.
100%.
And, like, people used to have fireplaces more often. Maybe not then, but possibly.
Probably.
So it's, like, having fires inside is a lot less likely nowadays, too. It's just, like, it's crazy how far
we've come. Thank God. For real.
I know.
Seriously. But yeah, unfortunately, the hotel caught fire and almost destroyed the entire original wood structure. It almost destroyed the whole thing. Only the kitchen wing, the tower, and what's called the painter were saved from the fire. The tower is actually iconic now. It's known to be the sighting place of a ghostly woman in a white dress. Another common thing that people have reported from the tower is seeing strange lights appearing to be coming from the tower, but then they go check it. Nobody's in the tower. Nothing is in the tower, and it's lighting up.
Huh.
No explanation.
Okay.
So, the tower is very interesting. The good news is, from what I can tell at least, a large majority of the ghosts that haunt this hotel were not, like, tragically killed or anything in the fire. Most ghosts that haunt this hotel actually just loved the hotel so much that they wanted to stay there forever. So let's get into some of those. The most famous ghost of the hotel would be that of a bellboy who shows people to their rooms and tells them like fun facts about the property as he's walking them through.
Sweet.
And then the people will like, check into the hotel, put their stuff away, and then go back to give him a tip.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be like, hey, we need to give the bellboy a tip. And they're like, okay, he's right there. And they're like, oh, that's not the bellboy we had.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, that's the only bellboy that we have working. And they're like, well, no, because that's not the one we just had. And they're like, yeah, that's just the ghost bellboy.
Oh my god.
He doesn't need money.
Does he have a name?
No, not that I could find. None of these people really do have names.
Dang.
So, yeah. I think just a lot of people. I think there's like too many ghosts to name.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not even going to be able to get to all the ghosts even. So, but yeah, the ghost bellboy is so nice. Just helping people. Love that. And in a similar instance, there's also the ghost of a night watchman. His footsteps can be heard pacing the floors, and the jangling of his keys can be heard too.
Oh
which
my god.
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Nope, absolutely not. In the kitchen and dining areas, there are said to be some apparitions of a senior woman setting up tables and rearranging them in the dining room. So, literally, a lot of these ghosts are just, like, past workers who, like their job so much that they just stayed in the afterlife. Could never be me.
See, I was going to say, yeah, like, staying at your job in the afterlife, that's kind of sad.
I know.
Like, as long as they're happy, I guess.
I hope they're
happy. I don't
happy.
know.
Yeah. I you know what, honestly, yeah, and I wrote it down, like, I aspire to work in a place that I would want to haunt one day.
You're right.
Because that's a goal.
Yeah.
That's my goal. That's my new goal. I want to work in some place, or, you know, even if I work for myself, like, I'd haunt myself, you know? That's my goal. So, fun. Moving on to some haunted rooms. We have room 473. There is said to be a phantom bride who can be heard weeping in that room.
Oh my gosh, there's always a bride crying.
Well, so there's a bride crying, but there's also the lady in the white dress in the tower. But they're two different people.
Okay.
So, yeah, people also have claimed to see her apparition in the room, and it's literally a woman in a dress crying. Like, that's horrible. And the legend actually says that her fiancé was lost at sea with no way to send her word that he would not be able to make it by their wedding date. But, like, he was alive. He just, like, he couldn't just send a quick text message. And as a result, she assumed that he did die on his passage to her. And so she actually died from a broken heart, like, a couple days later.
Dramatic. She couldn't have waited a few days.
No, she did. And then I think she, like, every day she was just constantly thinking, like, oh my God, he's, like, not coming back. He's dead.
It was the stress of it all.
It was. It literally was. And it's just so sad. So sad. Very, very sad. So, yeah, people say they see her ghost. Moving on to the third floor of the hotel, there's said to be a kid ghost that haunts it. The story says that a child actually died in the hotel by chasing a ball out the window and falling to his death.
No.
Yeah. And so when you're on the third floor, people say that you can see his ghost playing with balls, like rolling a ball down the hallway.
Oh my God.
Which is so The Shining vibes.
There was,
if you ask me.
That was the same thing as the one that I covered. The last one I covered.
Yes.
There was a boy chasing a ball.
Yep.
And he fell down the stairs.
Yeah. And this one fell out the window. It's horrible.
Okay, see, that's the lesson here.
Don't chase balls.
Don't let your kids play with bouncy balls.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the message. That's funny. So where am I at? Okay, so we're still on the third floor, but these are going to be specific rooms. Room 308 and 373, which now I'm like, how many rooms are on the floor? Because 308 to 373 is crazy. Yeah. But anyway, those two rooms are said to have very strange occurrences. Objects will move around the rooms. Doorknobs will turn by themselves and, like, open the door. Phone calls will come in and nobody will be there on the line. And actually, this is even creepier. So people, like workers who work the main desk in the lobby of the hotel, will receive phone calls from dead rooms, what they call, which are rooms that are not being used. And so they'll answer the phone and they'll be like, hello?
Yeah.
And they'll, like, check to see who's in the room. They're like, oh, nobody's renting a room. And nobody's on the line.
Oh.
But people are calling. People
Yikes.
are calling. So that happens apparently all the time too. So that's just like creepy.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And the 9th floor is said to have some very dark energy to it. So don't really know what's going on there, but really what I'm gathering is there's no safe place in this hotel.
No, yeah.
Like, it's all haunted, no matter what. But circling back to the beginning, I said I came across this story because Trisha Paytas stayed there. So her experience, she talked about it on her podcast, but that she stayed at this hotel for like 3 or 4 nights. And every single night when she was in her room, the sink in her bathroom would just keep turning on by itself.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. She'd have to turn it off. And yeah. And she said the lights would turn on and off too by themselves. And that's really all that happened. But that's enough, honey.
Right. Oh my god. It's people that like don't usually talk about ghost stuff.
Right.
Like, okay, when people who don't usually talk about ghost things talk about that kind of stuff, it makes me believe it.
Right.
It's like they're not just saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
She
like,
was like, it was horrible energy, horrible vibes. And then like stuff was happening. And she was by herself. She was like, I was so
like,
scared.
what reason would she have to say that to her audience?
Right. And
like,
she said,
that's crazy.
No, it's so funny. Because she said she literally Googled it. She was like, and the first thing that comes up, and honey, I can attest to this because the first thing when you type in the Algonquin Hotel, it's just all this information of how haunted it is.
Oh, yeah.
And she saw that and she was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that when we go to New York City, now this is where we have to stay.
I mean,
Savannah said.
Sure.
I mean, listen, nothing bad's happening, you know? But it's just funny because this hotel is so like bougie and nice and fancy, but then it's also very, very haunted. Yeah. Like very haunted. Not in like a scary way though. Not really.
Right.
Just haunted.
They seem like kind of residual.
Yeah. They're just chilling. But like it's a lot of them. It's like jam packed full.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. That makes me want to go there. Like I would love for the sink to turn on in my room.
Yeah, I want to go.
Like, yeah. So Algonquin Hotel, here we come. Whenever we come to New York City. And that's all that I know. So, yeah, that's the legend of the Algonquin Hotel.
Oh, my God. I do want to go.
Yeah, same. Same. And apparently it's, like, really close to, like, Broadway.
It's probably really pretty, too.
Oh, it is. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah. Look at our Instagram to see pictures of the Algonquin Hotel. And I don't think there's going to be pictures from the green people, but maybe.
There is, like, a
drawing?
Like an
art
piece.
rendition?
I don't know. There's
rendering. I'm looking for the word. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what
I'll
we can
post
find.
Something.
Yeah. But check out Instagram for that. And go to our YouTube and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please.
Please.
But other than that, I really don't have anything else for you guys this week. What about you, Savannah?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well then I guess we will see you guys next week.
Okay, cue the music.